Students, let's start with the carbon and its compounds. So our today's session is going to be somewhat where you'll be learning carbon and its compounds, previous year questions. So without delay, let's start. So here the first question. So here the first question. Explain why carbon forms compound mainly by covalent bond. Explain in brief two main reasons for carbon forming large number of compounds. Why does carbon form strong bonds with most other elements? So this question was asked in 2023. As carbon has 4 valence electrons and it can neither lose nor gain 4 electrons. Thus it attained the noble gas configuration by sharing of electrons. So carbon is a compound which can neither donate nor accept electrons. So already in versatile nature, so all of you learned in your NCERT textbook, if it loses its 4 electron, it will be having 6 protons in its nucleus, whereas the number of electrons will be only 2. And the same way, if it gains 4 electrons, it will be having 6 protons and 10 electrons. In both the cases, it is difficult for carbon to hold. So thus, it can neither lose nor gain electrons. So in that sense, carbon shares electrons. So thus it is forming covalent compounds. Thus it forms covalent compounds. The existence of large number of compounds is due to strong unique property of carbon. So here carbon has a strong unique property because of which it can make number of compounds. The first one, carbon atom possesses a unique property to link together to form a very long chain, so which we call catenation. Why carbon is versatile in nature or why carbon forms more number of compounds? Answer to that question, catenation. Carbon can link with other carbon to form a long chain. And the next one, large number of carbon atoms join together to form a straight chain, branch chain and ring as shown in the figure. So they have given the 3 examples here to make your answer much more effective. Here you can write out all like how the carbon forms chain compound or the branch compound or the ring compound. So this question we are dealing with versatile nature of carbon. How carbon is versatile in nature. So the question, this was asked in 2023. Carbon atom forms compound mainly by covalent compound. Explain why and moreover any 2 reasons why it forms large number of compounds. And why does carbon form strong bond with other elements? So this was the question. So answer to the first one, why carbon forms covalent compound. Carbon is tetravalent in nature. It can neither lose 4 electrons nor gain 4 electrons to form ionic bond. So thus it shares with other elements to form covalent bonding. And next, why carbon is versatile in nature? Most of the compounds are made up of carbon. The reason is because of catenation, small size and tetravalency. Then one by one you can explain all the properties as you all are familiar with those. Catenation, carbon can combine with other carbon atom to form a long chain which is called catenation. So here they have given how the chains are being formed in the carbon. In solution, to make your answer much more effective, you can explain in detail like there is a chain formation, branching and ring formation. Next, due to small size and presence of 4 valence electrons, a carbon atom can form multiple bond with the other carbon atom as well as with the atoms like oxygen and nitrogen. Now the second property, as the carbon is having small size and tetravalency, due to these 2 properties also, carbon can form compounds with other atoms or by itself, like combining with oxygen and nitrogen. This increases the compound formed by it and hence the number of compounds is tremendous. So here as it combines with the other atoms to form the compound, so it is versatile in nature. Now the next question, draw the structure of the following compound, butanoic acid, and the second one is chloropentane. You need to draw butanoic acid and chloropentane. So the first one is uh, how the structures given below related to each other. So they asked about butanoic acid. Okay, the second question. So first question we are dealing with. Here the answer is given butanoic acid. Butanoic acid is a 4-carbon compound. So you need to take 4 carbons, including functional group. So COOH is the functional group. Formula of butanoic acid is CH3, CH2, CH2, COOH. Whereas chloropentane, in the pentane, chlorine has to be added. So first pentane. So pentane is made up of 5 carbons. So take 5 carbon compound, replace one of the hydrogen with chlorine as it is chloropentane. Now the second question, how the two structures are interrelated. So if we see the structure, here total, how many carbons are there? If we count out the structure, structure 1, total 6 carbon are there and hydrogen 12, 14 hydrogen are there. So it's a C6H14. And the same way, next one that is also having 6 carbon and hydrogen 14. So both the structures formula is same. Okay, formula is same. So here we are dealing with the carbon and compounds PYQ. If you are of 10th standard student, try to answer them. So here both the compounds are having the same molecular formula, but structural arrangement is different. Okay, so both belong to alkane derivative. We can see that both are belonging to alkane derivatives, both of them. So here they are isomer, they have the same molecular formula but differ in their order of carbon atoms. So here how both the structures are interrelated. Both the structures are isomers as their molecular formula is same but their structural arrangement is different. Very often they are asking about isomers, you need to prepare that also. Now next, further to that question, the next one is differentiate between saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds on the basis of their general formula. So on the basis of general formula, they are asking to differentiate it. General formula of alkane, CnH2n plus 2, and for alkene, it is CnH2n. So all the three general formulas are important. Mostly, you all are ready with that. So total general formula of alkane is CnH2n plus 2. Alkene, when it is ene, CnH2n. When it is ine, CnH2n minus 2. So the second question was related to their general formula. We need to differentiate saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbon. And one more differentiation is there. Saturated hydrocarbon gives blue flame, clean and blue flame, whereas the unsaturated, they gives shooty flame. And one more chemical test is there, like bromine water test. Saturated hydrocarbon, they do not decolorize the bromine water, whereas the unsaturated compounds decolorizes bromine water. Now moving to the next question. Draw the structural isomer of butane. So this is also one of the important question. Draw the structural isomers of butane. Name the third homologous. So from homologous series, we need to write the third member of alcohol, aldehyde, and we need to name them. So let's see structural isomers of butane. Structural isomers of butane. So here you can see butane has got two structural isomers. The first one is N-butane, where we will be writing all the 4 carbon in straight chain. Okay, here all the 4 carbons in the straight chain. And if branching is done, if there is branching, we call it as isobutane. Two structural isomers are there for butane. One is N-butane and the second one is isobutane. Now the third question was, next question was like they asked about what are the homologous series of alcohol. So homologous series of alcohol having 3 carbon. So it's propanol. 3 carbon is there, OH is attached. And if it is ketone, propanone, 3 carbon with double bond O. Okay, next one. What are the, so this second answer is related to homologous series of alcohol where the number of carbons are 3. So propanol, if number of carbons are 3, then ketone derivative is propanone. Next one, 3 homologous series of alcohol are as follows. The first one is methanol, second one is ethanol, third one propanol, and the same way 3 homologous series of aldehydes, methanol, HCHO, then methanol, methanol, ethanol, and propanol. Now next question was here. Name the following. We need to name them. Structure is given. You need to give the name. So here this is benzene structure. So name of the compound is benzene. Now the next one, those are attending, can you name it? CH3, CH2, CH double bond, CH2. Can you name it? Those who are attending. So total 4 carbon are there and double bond is there. Thus it is 1 butene. Either by giving the number of carbon you can write or directly you can write it butene as double bond is there. So E and E. Now moving to next question. Okay, one more question is left here. Show the covalent bond formation in nitrogen molecule. So here show the covalent bond formation in nitrogen molecule. So for this, nitrogen atomic number is 7. So its configuration is 2 and 5. Thus, it will share 4 electrons to complete its octet. So nitrogen atom is outermost orbit. It is having 5 electrons. So 2 nitrogen atoms are getting combined to form nitrogen molecule by sharing 3 electrons among them. Thus, there is a triple bond between nitrogen and triple bond N. Now moving to the next question. Write the name and general formula of the chain of hydrocarbon in which an addition reaction with hydrogen can take place. So here addition reaction with hydrogen can take place in unsaturated compounds belonging to alkene derivative, stating the essential condition required for the addition reaction. Now what are the conditions required for addition reaction? And write the chemical equation giving the name of the reactant and product. We need to write the addition reaction. This question was asked in 2023, and along with that, structure of benzene. So here in addition reaction, an unsaturated hydrocarbon combines with other molecule to give a single product. Addition reaction are characteristic reactions of unsaturated hydrocarbon. So question was, addition reaction was given by which compounds? Addition reaction were given by unsaturated hydrocarbon, as there is double bond. So that double bond will get added with either hydrogen or some other atom. Addition reaction are given by unsaturated hydrocarbon which belong to CnH2n or alkynes CnH2n minus 2. Essential conditions for addition reaction. So what are the essential conditions? Next question was, what are the essential conditions for addition reaction? First one, presence of unsaturated hydrocarbon. There must be unsaturated hydrocarbon. And the second property, presence of catalyst. Addition reaction always take place in presence of catalyst like nickel, platinum or palladium. Addition reaction of ethene with hydrogen. So here addition of ethene with hydrogen, this question is also very important, where ethene will add out hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst to form CH3, ethane, which is also called hydrogenation, and this process is used for the conversion of vegetable oil to vegetable ghee. Now here, in addition of hydrogen molecule to an unsaturated hydrocarbon, a saturated hydrocarbon called hydrogenation, the process requires the presence of nickel or palladium metal. So here there is a need of presence of nickel or palladium. So here, once more I'm reading this question. Which compound undergoes addition reaction? So answer to that, alkane and alkenes undergo addition reaction, and then example is addition of hydrogen, and name the catalysts which are used here. So catalysts are nickel and palladium or platinum. Now moving to the next question, structure of benzene was asked. So already you all are familiar with the structure of benzene. So you can draw the structure of benzene, either representing hydrogen or the complete circle could be prepared out of that. Next one, write the chemical equation. So this question also was in 2023. So here you got the direct question, no need of any logical thinking. So the first question is combustion of methane. Methane undergoes combustion to form carbon dioxide, water and energy. Heat is liberated. Second one, oxidation of ethane. So here, first one, combustion one, let's see the reaction. Have a look and practice it. Carbon and its compounds, these equations are very important. Repeatedly in most of the question papers we get this. So first one, methane in presence of oxygen undergoes combustion to form carbon dioxide, water, heat and light. So whenever there is combustion, carbon dioxide and heat is liberated. Next, ethanol. Ethanol in presence of, that is oxidation reaction. Ethanol in presence of alkaline KMnO4 or acidified K2Cr2O7, either potassium magnet or potassium dichromate, it forms ethanoic acid. Oxidation of ethanol. Next one, addition reaction, hydrogenation. So here the questions were asked in this way. The first one, combustion reaction. Second one was oxidation of ethane. Here instead of ethane it should be ethanol, and then hydrogenation of ethene. So ethene on hydrogenation forms ethane, and in presence of catalyst nickel and palladium. So this also repeated question, esterification, saponification, most important questions of carbon and its compounds. So those who are appearing for your exams, underline this question equations, and from carbon and its compounds, these questions you need to practice very well. Now esterification, ethanol and ethanoic acid. Esterification is a kind of neutralization reaction where alcohol and acid will react to form ester. So here ethanol reacting with ethanoic acid in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. Ethanol formula is CH3CH2OH reacting with ethanoic acid, CH3COOH in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid to form CH3COO C2H5. That is ethyl acetate, and water is liberated. Now the next question, saponification was there. Saponification is just reverse of the esterification. Ethyl acetate, which is prepared during saponification in presence of sodium hydroxide, will form ethanol and ethanoic acid back. That is the splitting of the product to reagents back is called saponification. So here, as this reaction is used for the preparation of soaps, we call it as saponification. So these are the straightforward questions which could be asked. Prepare it well. Now next question, what happens when a small piece of sodium is dropped in ethanol? When sodium is dropped in ethanol, write the equation. And Y is glacial, instead of Y it should be what is glacial acetic acid and why it is so called. So here ethanol C2H5OH. If we add sodium to ethanol, it will form sodium ethoxide. C2H5ONA, sodium ethoxide, and hydrogen is liberated. Now next one, pure acetic acid is known as glacial acetic acid. Why we call it as glacial acetic acid? The melting point of pure ethanoic acid is 290 Kelvin. Hence, it often freezes during winter in cold climate. So why we call it as glacial acetic acid? Because it freezes during winter in cold climate. So this gives rise to the name glacial acetic acid. As it freezes during cold climate, we call it as glacial acetic acid. Next one, ethanol will react with concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid is called dehydrating agent. So it will remove water from ethanol. So once if it will absorb water from ethanol, ethanol will convert into ethene. That is, unsaturation is added to it. Ethanol will react with concentrated sulfuric acid at 443 Kelvin. Concentrated sulfuric acid is called dehydrating agent. It will convert ethanol to ethene, CH2 double bond CH2. Ethanol on heating with excess of concentrated sulfuric acid at 443 Kelvin release water molecule to form ethene. So here few equations were asked. Once again, going back to the question here. So the first question was oxidation, combustion of methane, oxidation of ethane, hydrogenation of ethene, esterification, saponification. So if you'll be getting like this kind of straightforward question, it will be very easy for you, where without any logic thinking, you can write the definitions which are learned from the NCERT. Now the next question, sixth one, what happens when small piece of sodium is dropped in ethanol? When sodium is added to ethanol, it will react with the ethanol to form sodium ethoxide. Okay, reaction is C2H5OH plus Na will form C2H5ONA. So hydrogen will get replaced with the sodium and there is liberation of hydrogen. Next one, why acetic acid is called glacial acetic acid? So here, as acetic acid often freezes during winter season. During cold climate it freezes, so we call it as glacial acetic acid. Third question was, write an equation of saponification, or what happens when ethanol is heated at 443 Kelvin. When ethanol is heated at 443 Kelvin with the concentrated sulfuric acid is called dehydrating agent. It will remove water from ethanol and convert it into ethene, CH2 double bond CH2. Next question, write the saponification reaction. Already we did saponification 1. So ethanol ester in presence of NaOH will convert back to ethanol and ethanoic acid. So here ester CH3COOC2H5. Repeating once again, CH3COOC2H5 in presence of NaOH will convert into C2H5OH and CH3COONA. So it is getting converted into ethanol and sodium ethoxide. ester in presence of NaOH will convert into ethanol and sodium ethoxide. So during this reaction, soaps are prepared. So thus we call it as saponification. Now moving to the further next question. 4 organic compounds are shown below. So the 4 organic compounds are given. You need to choose the correct option. So the first one is double bond compound. So it is ethene. Second one is COOH is there. Ethanoic acid. B1. First one is ethene. Second one is ethanoic acid. Third one, all single bond. So it is ethane. And fourth one, ethanol. OH is there. Now based on this, the question is given. A and B are saturated hydrocarbon. A and B. It's wrong. A is not a saturated hydrocarbon as there is double bond. So it is an unsaturated hydrocarbon. Next, C and D are saturated one. C and D. They are saturated hydrocarbon. The next one, addition of hydrogen in presence of catalyst changes A to C. A is ethene. It changes to C. That's also, see here, hydrogenation reaction is given. When we add hydrogen to ethene, it converts into ethane. So which option is correct? Option number C is correct one. Next one, Srishti heated ethanol with compound A in presence of few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid and observe the sweet smell compound. So this question we are getting very often, regularly, like one after other paper. In some shorter papers we are getting very often this question. So those are appearing for exam. Prepare it very well. Esterification reaction. When she treated with sodium hydroxide, it gives back ethanol and compound C. So here both the combined reactions are being asked, esterification and saponification. Next one. So here we need to identify A and C, and along with that chemical reaction should be given. Now moving to the next question here. What is the role of concentrated sulfuric acid when it is heated with ethanol in 443 Kelvin? So concentrated sulfuric acid is dehydrating agent. Give the reaction involved. So here ethanol in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid will convert into ethene with the liberation of water molecule. As concentrated sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent, it will remove water molecule from ethanol. Okay, now the next question. A ratio by mistake forgot to label 2 test tubes containing ethanol and diethanoic acid. Suggest an experiment to identify the substances correctly. So here ethanol and other one is carboxylic acid, sodium salt of ethanoic acid, sodium ethoxide. See how we can identify. Question number B. Use of ethanoic acid. Dilute solution is used as vinegar. So they have given question differently and answers are shown different here. Here the 2 test tubes are there which are containing ethanol and it should be ethanoic acid. Spelling mistake is there. Ethanol and ethanoic acid. Suggest an experiment to identify the substance. Okay. If it is ethanol and ethanoic acid, on reacting, we can write both the reactions in a common way like ethanol and ethanoic acid. If we mix both of them, it will form ester. A sweet smell will be liberated. With that, we can conclude that the test tubes are containing ethanol and ethanoic acid. And further, then that ester can be again reacted with sodium hydroxide to form sodium acetate along with the liberation of ethanol. So thus we can separate out ethanol from the test tube. Now the next one. So this is also a very completed question like what happens when sulfuric acid is added to ethanol. Sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent, so it will take water from the ethanol and convert it into ethene. How ethanoic acid react with sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate? Ethanoic acid, when it react with sodium carbonate, it will form CH3COONA. It is sodium acetate. With the liberation of गौतम, अगर टाइम मिले तो ये वाला वीडियो शुरू से देख लेना। कार्बन एंड इट्स कंपाउंड के मैंने क्वेश्चन आंसर सॉल्व करवाए हैं। कल शाम को अटेंड नहीं किया तुमने क्लास? कल शाम को, कल रात में भी एक क्लास लिया था, उसमें भी, हाँ, कल रात में जो लिया था वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का लिया था। हाँ, कुछ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी चैप्टर का कल रात में लिया था 9:30 को। हाँ देखो, अभी ये वाला अगर वीडियो तुम शुरू से देखोगे तो कार्बोनेट्स कंपाउंड्स का तुमको थोड़े क्वेश्चंस मिल जाएंगे, PYQs, जो कि इंपॉर्टेंट हैं। उनको रिपीट कर लेने एक बार। हाँ, अभी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड्स हैव लो मेल्टिंग पॉइंट एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट, वाई? कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड्स के मेल्टिंग और बॉइलिंग पॉइंट्स लो क्यों हो रहे हैं? रीज़न? अच्छा ठीक है बेटा, कहीं से भी बस पढ़ने से मतलब है, जहाँ से समझ में आता है वहाँ से किया करो। Covalent compounds have low melting point and boiling point because the forces of attraction between the molecules of covalent compounds are very weak. अब यहाँ पे covalent compound में क्या होता है कि वो शेयरिंग ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन से बनते हैं, तो उनका जो बॉन्ड होता है वो काफ़ी वीक होता है। बिकॉज ऑफ वीक बॉन्ड दे कैन बी ईजिली ब्रोकन डाउन, तो इसलिए उनका बॉइलिंग और मेल्टिंग पॉइंट जो है वो काफ़ी लो होता है। नेक्स्ट वन, राइट द नेम ऑफ एलोट्रॉप्स ऑफ कार्बन। कार्बन के दो एलोट्रॉप्स के बारे में हमको टेक्स्ट बुक में एक्सप्लेन किया हुआ है, वन इज ग्रेफाइट, अदर इज डायमंड। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, कार्बन प्रेफर टू शेयर इट्स वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स विथ अदर एटम्स ऑफ कार्बन और विथ एटम्स ऑफ other element rather than gaining or losing the valence electrons in order to attain noble gas configuration. Give reason. यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन समझ में आया क्या बोल रहे हैं? प्रिपेयर कर ले, अभी पेपर्स के बारे में मत सोच, पेपर्स अच्छे ही हो रहे हैं बच्चों के। देखो अभी यहाँ पे तुमको पूछा है, क्वेश्चन समझ में आया तुमको? कार्बन प्रेफर्स टू शेयर वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, कि कार्बन जो है कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड, इतना बड़ा क्वेश्चन दिया है। इन शॉर्ट में क्या है हमको कि कार्बन कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड बनाता है, आयनिक कंपाउंड नहीं बनाता है, क्यों? तो इसका आंसर क्या हो जाएगा कि कार्बन कैन नाइदर लूज 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स नॉर इट कैन गेन 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, क्योंकि अगर 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को वो लूज़ करता है तो उसका जो न्यूक्लियस है उसके अंदर 6 प्रोटॉन्स हैं, तो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स 2 हो जाएंगे, देयर विल बी अनस्टेबिलिटी। इन द सेम वे इफ़ इट गेन्स 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन, उसके न्यूक्लियस में 6 प्रोटॉन्स हैं लेकिन उसके पास नंबर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स जो है वो 10 हो जाएगा। सो अगेन देयर विल बी अनस्टेबिलिटी इन बोथ द केसेस, इट कैन नॉट become stable compound, so thus it shares electrons to form compound. Next question हो गया, draw the electron dot structure of the molecule oxygen. electron dot structure अच्छे से आते हैं? electron dot structure नहीं आता है? देखो समझा रही हूँ, इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर करने के लिए हम लोगों को उनके एटॉमिक नंबर जानना ज़रूरी है। जैसे भी ऑक्सीजन का पूछा है, ऑक्सीजन का एटॉमिक नंबर 8 होता है, तो अगर हम उसका कन्फिग्रेशन देखें ऑक्सीजन का, तो 2 एंड पहले वाले ऑर्बिट में 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन और बाकी जो दूसरा ऑर्बिट है उसमें 6 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होंगे, तो जो ऑटरमोस्ट ऑर्बिट होता है वही हमको दिखाते हैं। ठीक है, उसका एटॉमिक नंबर 8 है, तो पहले ऑर्बिट में उसके पास 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन हो गए और सेकेंड ऑर्बिट में 6, तो इसलिए देखो यहाँ पे 6 डॉट्स करके दिखाए हैं। 2 ऑक्सीजन है, दोनों में 6 हैं। अब ऑक्सीजन को अपने अंदर 8 कंप्लीट करना है, तो 8 कंप्लीट करने के लिए आपस में वो 2 शेयर करेंगे, तो देखो इस तरह से वो शेयर कर रहे हैं, दोनों ने अपना 2 एटम इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को शेयर कर लिया। 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन मिलके एक बॉन्ड होता है, तो बाद में हम इसको बॉन्ड से रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे। बाकी जैसे इसके 4 बच गए दोनों के ऊपर, और जो शेयर उसने कर लिया उसको हमने बॉन्ड में कन्वर्ट कर दिया। समझ में आ गया? समझ में आया? देखो ऐसे ही फिर नाइट्रोजन का है। नाइट्रोजन का एटॉमिक नंबर तुम्हारे सिलेबस में ऑक्सीजन और नाइट्रोजन दो ही हैं, तो उनको तुम आराम से याद रख सकते हो। नाइट्रोजन के लिए हमको नाइट्रोजन का एटॉमिक नंबर 7 होता है, तो अगर हम उसका कन्फिग्रेशन देखें तो 2 और 5, तो उसके ऑटोमोस्ट ऑर्बिट में 5 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं। तो अब उसको 8 करने के लिए 3 शेयर करने पड़ेंगे आपस में, ठीक है। तो ये जो 3 डॉट्स उसके दिखाई दे रहे हैं वो तीनों को वो शेयर कर लेगा। तो पहले हमने नॉर्मल उसका स्ट्रक्चर लिखा, फिर शेयर करने के बाद का ड्रॉ किया। शेयर करने के बाद दो दो बॉन्ड को हटा के, मतलब दो दो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को हटा के बॉन्ड बना दिया वहाँ पे। तो ये N ट्रिपल बॉन्ड N, 2 लोन पेयर्स आर देयर। समझ में आया? सीख रहे हो कि चले गए हो? थोड़ी देर के लिए दिखते हो, बाद में गायब हो जाते हो। समझ में आ गया? और फिर बोलते हो नहीं करवा रहे हो ना। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। कार्बन कंपाउंड्स मेनली, कार्बन फॉर्म्स कंपाउंड मेनली बाय कोवेलेंट बॉन्डिंग वाई। अभी हमने ये वाला किया था, कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड से वो क्यों बना रहा है। सेम क्वेश्चंस यहाँ पे रिपीट हुए हैं, क्योंकि उसका जो न्यूक्लियस है वो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को होल्ड नहीं कर सकता है। इफ़ इट विल लूज और गेन, सो इट विल शेयर इलेक्ट्रॉन्स। फिर नेक्स्ट है, कार्बन कंपाउंड्स हैव लो मेल्टिंग पॉइंट एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट। Next, carbon compounds do not conduct electricity. So why they have low melting point and boiling point? Because they are formed by weak covalent bond. So it's very easy to break the bonds. Thus their boiling points and melting points are very low. फिर next हो गया, carbon compounds do not conduct electricity. क्योंकि वो covalent compound है, they do not have any loose electrons for conduction. So there is no ionic formation. So thus they do not conduct electricity. Next, carbon can form only covalent compounds. ये बार बार क्वेश्चन रिपीट हो रहे हैं। अभी तक हमने 3 से 4 पेपर देखे हैं जहाँ पे क्वेश्चन रिपीट हो रहे हैं। ओके चलो अभी ये कार्बन एंड इट्स कंपाउंड वाला जो है आफ्टरनून सेशन में हम लोग फिर से कंटिन्यू करने वाले हैं। मेनी पेपर्स आर देयर, इफ यू कंप्लीट आउट दिस यू कैन बी वेरी क्लियर विद दिस चैप्टर। सो नाउ winding up class, so be ready to attend it by afternoon.